everywhere in short order. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So we have quite a bit more to cover and more slides, but Skippy, while we have you on at this moment, you would prefer to be on products, research, and data, and you're fine with indigenous and religious use and outreach.
Yeah, and definitely want to stay on qualifications, licensing, and training. I think that's a sweet spot. So those three feel good.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
With hands raised up, we're going to go to William Dunn.
Thank you very much. I am honored to serve. If we're looking to shrink the public health and health equity committee, I'm happy to take off of that. I will also be candid with you is that I am starting to get really nervous about the time commitment to this, and I just want to be candid about that. So thank you.
Thank you. And William, are you good with emergency response, safety, ethics, harm reduction, public safety?
Yeah, I think those are where I bring my expertise. So,
right.
And I have public health and health equity background, but that's not my expertise. So, I serve.
Thank you.
Perfect. Well, we have Sophia. You have your hand raised. Let's Oh well, sorry. Let's get to Brad Connor. He's had his hand raised for quite a while.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it. I just wanted to voice that I think my expertise would fit really well with the qualifications, licensing, and training, and so I'd love to be added as a full member to that subcommittee. And I don't know that I have as much on the public health and health equity, but I've noted a number of people have suggested getting off that committee. I'm fine to be on 4, but I really do think that my strengths are with the qualifications, licensing, and training.
So let's consider emergency response and safety and ethics. Ethics you're fine with, correct? And then products, research, and data. Are you fine with those two as well?
Yeah, I mean, if I had my preference, I would be emergency response, safety and ethics, products, research, and data, and then qualifications, licensing, and training. But I don't want to thin out the public health and health equity too much. And so if I'm needed there, I can stay there as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Sophia?
So I would like to stay on the 2 subcommittees that you have listed for me and include the training, because I do offer training in culturally based care and responsive care. And then I just want to add to what Dr. E said to Skippy. It would be a pleasure, and I do feel like his background would offer a lot to the Indigenous component. So I think that's a lovely combination. And if anyone else feels that they would like to join in that group, like Dr. E said, we're all Indigenous. We all come from the planet, from the land, our ancestors. So just adding that for Skippy. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Hannum, Lisa?
Yeah, I was wondering if I could switch off of the harm reduction and public safety in favor of the products, research, and data subgroup. The other 2 are fine. The emergency response, safety, ethics, and qualifications, licensing, and training.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tina?
Sorry, Sam, I know you're trying to get us along, but quick question. So my 2, I'm fine with. I mean, harm reduction, public safety, that's right on kind of cue. The indigenous and religious use and outreach, that one's kind of interesting to me, just hearing everyone's kind of feedback, but the scope, and I'm not too sure if I'm looking at it from a whole new lens that everyone else is. So most of my work, I'm going into some of the prison facilities, and there are different religious groups in the prison facilities. And when something becomes law, then they try to adopt those into what they do inside the facilities. And so when I'm looking at the indigenous religious use and outreach, the outreach piece, I think is what caught my attention and bringing everyone's kind of expertise. And so I don't mind being on that one. I plan to attend some of their meetings if I can. But the other 2, I'm fine with. But if you need to eliminate some people,
no, I mean,
like health and equity,
if you have the time for it, we'd be glad to add you on there.
So if you're attending as a committee member to one that you're not assigned to, do you automatically become an unvoting member and just a spectator? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I want to go to Billy.
Did I have my hand up or?
No, I just wanted to go over these qualifications with you and went through Dr. Ham, William Dunn, and just wanted to go to you next. To see if you were fine with these, if you want to add something, if you want to take something off.
I'm good with my assignments. Yeah, I appreciate them, and I ready to roll. So thank you for checking.
We have Brad Lundy.
Looks good to me.
Okay. Thank you. Dr. Estes.
Are there a couple people who aren't here today from the board?
Yes. Ricardo Baca could not attend, but he has submitted to me that he wants to serve on Indigenous and religious use and outreach, harm reduction and public safety, and then if I believe if possible, public safety.
Okay, I just wanted to ask after him. I hope he's okay. All right. So what I would like to do, and I would like to try to do it because I know the reading in particular, you know, and there's a lot of new words in the reading, especially the regulatory, you know, CRSs and so forth that are written in legalese. But I would like to try it. I was part of forming the license of registration for unlicensed psychotherapists in the state of Colorado. I helped to form that with other people on the committee, and also helped to form the license for private investigators in Colorado. So I will very much like to be on the qualifications, licensing, and training. And also because I was on the Colorado State Grievance Board for 13 years and several years as chair, I would also like to, if I could, be in terms of harm reduction and public safety, because that's what we dealt with on that board constantly. We met every month with the district attorney, our 4 investigators, and I believe I'll have useful knowledge about that and about.
Perfect. And then Dr. Estes, and you're also, so you're asking to be on licensing, qualifications, and training, as well as harm. You said harm reduction, public safety, and then indigenous and religious use and outreach, and then public health equity, or would you like to?
Right. I would like to try, please. I would.
Okay. Perfect.
I'm
Thank
not
you.
full time, but you know, there's time for everything if you really want and need to, right?
Right. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Sheriff Lucero cannot. Is it if he? I believe he hopped off at. I believe let's see. Hopped off at 2:24. But he wants to be on harm reduction and public safety, emergency response, safety, and ethics. So.
Great.
Let's see. Wendy.
I'm good with the 2 that you have me on. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Dr. Sicily.
I like the 2 that you've selected, and like I said, I'm gonna jump on the other subcommittees whenever I'm available.
Perfect. And then Josh. Dr.
Yeah,
Goodwin.
I'm good with mine.
Okay. All right. I think that is. Well, we have Katina as well. We have Katina in qualifications, licensing, and training. Katina, do you want to expand into any of the other ones, or are you fine with this one solely?
You know, that one I think fits. I think it's most appropriate for my background and my experience. I think there's, a carrying the load kind of question in my mind and making
Mhm.
sure that I'm, contributing
Right.
and as much as others. I think I'm going to adopt, I believe it's Sue's mentality of trying to participate and attend as many as possible, but to the extent that there's a desire to be assigned, I guess I'm open to accepting the invitation to participate in the Indigenous and religious use outreach as a woman of color, given my background. I do feel that I could bring something to those discussions, and certainly open and willing to learn. But I feel very much like this entire endeavor, I mean, that's the heart of it. And so that would be my choice if it's okay with the rest of the subcommittee members.
A-okay with me. We're A-okay.
Thank you, Doctor.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay.
Sounds,
All right, Karen.
I think we're good. We're gonna move on to the next section.
Yeah, let's get into the slides. All right. So now we're going to go over the bylaws that you guys were given. Karen, can you mute your laptop real quick? Oh, you're good. Thank you. All right. So purpose. In accordance with the Natural Medicine Health Act of 2022, board's purpose is to provide to DORA no later than September 30th, 2023, and annually thereafter recommendations related to the Natural Medicine Access Program, and including but not limited to accurate public health approaches in the content and scope of educational campaigns, research related to efficacy and regulation of natural medicine, including recommendations related to product safety, harm reduction, and cultural responsibility, proper content of training programs, educational and experiential requirements and qualifications for facilitators, affordable, equitable, ethical, culturally responsible access to natural medicine, appropriate regulatory considerations for each natural medicine, the addition of natural medicines to the program, all rules to be promulgated, and requirements for accurate and complete data collection, reporting, and publication of information related to implementation. If the board is later given authority to provide recommendations on additional subject matters, the board's purpose will include such additional requirements. So, number and selection. The 15 members are appointed according to statute by the governor of the state of Colorado with the consent of the Senate. Terms for the initial board, 7 of the members shall be appointed to a term of 2 years, and 8 members shall be appointed to a term of 4 years. Each member appointed thereafter shall be appointed to a term of 4 years. Members may serve up to 2 consecutive terms. A member whose term expires continues to serve until his or her replacement has been appointed, except that any member whose term expires and whose replacement has not been appointed prior to the start of the subsequent legislative session continues to serve until the Senate also confirms the appointment replacement. Resignation. Resignation from the board requires a written notice to the governor with a copy sent to the executive director of DORA and to the director of the board. Vacancies on the board resulting from death, resignation, disqualification, removal, or other cause shall be filled by appointment of the governor with the consent of the Senate when the legislature convenes subsequent to the appointment. Any board member appointed to a vacancy shall hold office for the unexpired term of his or her predecessor in office. Let's see. The governor may remove members for incompetency, neglect of duty, or malfeasance in office. The board may recommend the removal of a member to the governor for any reason that constitutes incompetence, neglect of duty, or malfeasance in office, including but not limited to the following reasons. A member continually and inconsistently prevents the board from performing its duties, and 2/3 of the remaining members of the board vote for their removal. The executive director or the director may recommend to the governor the removal of a member for any reason that constitutes incompetence, neglect of duty, or malfeasance in office. Examples may include, but are not limited to, violation of state laws such as the Colorado Open Records Act, open meeting laws, violation of attorney-client privilege, or unresolvable conflicts of interest. Oh, Billy.
Thanks, Sam. Very, very sorry to interrupt. I just thought I would see if the board was interested in waiving the reading of the bylaws, since we were furnished them in advance. I'm happy to listen to you read them, but
Hey,
I just
Billy, we
wanted to
can't
check
hear
in.
you.
Oh, really?
Oh,
I can hear you, Billy.
I could hear you.
Okay.
I agree.
Just I don't know if that's a motion, or I just wanted to at least raise it.
Did I move it to Karen?
okay. Okay, so I'm gonna call for a motion to approve the bylaws.
So moved, Sue Sisley.
Second,
I'll
Second.
second.
Oh, seconded, Elisa Hannum.
okay, all in favor?
Can I, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, discussion?
Thanks, and I hope I'm not being a certain way that I'm not supposed to be. I just, so we may, I just am not sure that the subcommittee assignments comply. I don't want to be, I just think, we want to make sure that what we do complies with the bylaws in general. And so if we see an instance where we might be running afoul, we should correct it, even if it seems kind of, mundane. So we might want to just generalize that line about the number of members on each subcommittee, just so we're not running afoul, depending on what those numbers are.
Okay, I think that we could say in that statement, we could say, and I don't have it up here in front of me. Could we just say there must be an odd number?
Correct.
Of board
could
members on
modify
each
that.
committee, no less than 3.
No fewer than 3. Yes.
No fewer than 3. Does that work, Billy?
Sounds good to me, as long as we have an odd number and maybe we
Yep.
can right size as we need to.
Yes.
When we can.
Okay, I think that works, and that way we make sure we have a minimum number, and then we make sure that we have an odd number so that we don't have a tie for voting, right? But then, and then other members can obviously attend as non-voting members as they're able. Okay. All right, any other discussion? Okay, seeing none. Does anyone see any hands that I'm missing? Okay, so Dr. Connor?
Sorry, I didn't mean to hit it. I apologize.
Oh, okay. All right, anyone else? All right, so all in favor of adopting, oh, wait. So we've amended. So actually I'll call for a new motion. Can I do that, Ashley?
Yeah, you can.
All right.
Could offer a friendly amendment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would call for a new motion to adopt the bylaws as amended.
So moved, Sue Sisley.
Second.
Seconded, Elisa Hannum.
Okay. Any discussion on that? Okay. All in
Point of
favor?
order. I thought we had to vote on the first one first and then go to the amended. Either that or it has to be a friendly amendment by the first and second. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I think we use modified Robert's
okay.
rules, but we can do it that way. Why don't we just do the vote on the first motion that we called? Or, I'm not.
You
a
can do
board
it.
chair.
You can do a friendly amendment, but both of them have to, that originally motioned and seconded have to do the friendly amendment.
Okay. Ashley, do you want to do that?
Sure. So there was a motion and a second originally to adopt the bylaws. I believe Cicely Hannum Moved and seconded. Is there a friendly amendment to amend your motion to adopt the bylaws as amended, including to modify the language of the composition of subcommittees to an odd number of board members, of subcommittee members, with no fewer than 3?
Yeah, I would approve the friendly amendment.
I would also approve the friendly amendment.
Is there any discussion? And now here's a call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed?
Any abstention? Okay, the motion carries.
For the minutes, I'm sorry, I heard 1 opposed, but I'm not sure who it was.
I didn't hear that, but did
Sorry.
anyone oppose? Okay, I don't think
Okay.
Ashley. Okay.
Sorry about that.
Yep. Okay, so the motion carries. The bylaws are adopted with the friendly amendment. All right, so seeing as how we have reviewed and adopted the bylaws, per the bylaws, the director will select the chair for the National Medicine Advisory Board. That chair will sit for 6 months, and at which time an election will be held. The director has selected Katina Banks to serve as chair for that first 6 months.
Yay.
Yay. Katina, do you accept that that assignment?
Yes. Well, with gratitude to the director for entrusting me with this leadership role. Yes, I'm honored to accept the appointment. Thank you.
Sure. The subcommittee, or I'm sorry, the bylaws also say that the director will select the vice chair. And so in doing that, the director would ask if Joshua Goodwin would accept that assignment.
I do. I accept. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Given that, Katina, I am going to turn the reins over to you to chair, which I've been wanting to do this whole meeting. And so we are at agenda item number 7 that I think with that item, you can turn that over to Sam and he will do the presentation.
So this suggestions, yeah.
Oh, terrific. Sorry, I was speaking and I was on mute. I've only just, been using Zoom for 3 years. So any year now, I'm gonna have it. Yes, Sam, if you would walk us through the next topic of the agenda, the future meeting and schedule adoption.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Chair Banks. So I have a proposed suggested schedule. I know everyone's schedule is different. We are aiming for meetings towards the end of the week. They tend to be a lighter load with most boards and programs. Basically here, what you have is, say if we started subcommittees next week, we would assign the first 3, say it might be public health, equity, indigenous religious use, harm reduction, public safety. We would schedule them on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday cadence. And then the following week, so the week of the 24th to the 28th, that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday would be products, research, data, emergency response, safety, ethics, qualifications, licensing, and training. And then week 3, May 1st through the 5th, would be the second meeting of public health and equity, indigenous and religious use, harm reduction and public safety. And then the week after, on the 4th week, 8th through the 12th, it would be the second meeting of products research and data, emergency response, safety ethics, qualifications, licensing, and training. And then it's not on here, but proposed date for the next board meeting to just about a month from there. And after all the subcommittees have met twice, could either be May 15th or May 16th, which I believe are a Monday or a Tuesday, so they don't overlap with the subcommittees that following week. Wendy.
Tuesdays do not work for me. I have my board meeting and that's what I'm elected to do. So-
Yeah. You have your board meetings on Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays?
No, Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays are a little easier for me, but Tuesdays are a no-go.
Tuesdays are a no-go. Okay. Elisa?
Yeah, on Thursdays and Fridays, I see patients in the afternoon. So I would only be available in the mornings.
Okay.
On Thursdays and Fridays.
Would a morning schedule work for folks?
Sam, would it make sense to see if, I don't remember what subcommittees this is on, but perhaps we can narrow it to, those subcommittees, narrow your question to those subcommittees.
Yeah, let's see.
It might be easier with this big of a board to send out a poll to find out. Put these meetings down and then you could find out to make sure that you're going to have a quorum there.
I'm open to doing that. Karen? Or is anyone opposed to that?
I'm not opposed to that. I think what we may want to do, and I want you all to consider, is you may want to I think the first meetings will be tough because we're so close in time, but trying to get a stable date, right? So it's always this day at this time so that you can arrange your other schedules. And so I would just throw that out there. But I do think for the immediacy, maybe I typically do like doodle polls or the similar whatever to try to get everybody on the same page.
I'm totally supportive of the doodle poll. Selfishly, I'm 14 times on the way right now, and I'm looking at my schedule being like, which day is which?
Yeah, so I can send out a poll for the members after the meeting. Do we want to identify at least the next meetings for the subcommittees? At least just the initial date?
You mean the first meeting, Sam? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I think most of us will make these work for us. A lot of us can actually move things around and still keep our commitments. It's not easy, but we can do it, I think. So because I pull all-nighters all the way across the world, a whole different time frame in the eastern part of the world and the western part of the world, I'm happy to try to do all of these. Wednesday is a day that's of conflict, but I'll figure it out. I will. I mean, we're grown-ups. We get to do what we want, right? A lot of the time anyway.
I'm just thinking, and I do really appreciate moving things around, Dr. Estes, and but also appreciate clients and making sure that people are seen. So what if we, I don't want to lose another week. What if we send the doodle poll out tomorrow for next week to get some subcommittees meetings set for next week and the week after, right? To try to find what the best date is, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday of which week for the subcommittees. And then once we get those set, then we'll work on the more permanent schedule. Do you think that will work?
I think that's a good idea. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your flexibility too. I don't have much in terms of the morning and afternoon, so I appreciate that.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think it's, yeah, we have to balance that for everyone. And so let's figure out the best times. That it's not going to be perfect. And, some people may have to miss a meeting here or there, but to the extent that we can find some good solid times for people to participate, I think that's in the best interest of everyone.
Alrighty, so you'll send us a survey, right? Yeah.
Yes, we will send out a survey for everyone, and then we'll have that published for the dates.
And so we can send it back to Katina. Our next item on the agenda would be executive session and any items that were moved to executive session. So Ashley, do you want to step in here?
Wait, can I ask really quickly, Karen? Sorry, I thought that there was also a mention about our next board meeting or our next full board meeting. I mean, are we also trying to table? We're also doing that in the doodle as well.
Yeah, we can do that in the doodle as well. I had it out for around either May 15th or 16th, assuming that you begin subcommittees next week.
Okay, great. Just wanted to track. Yeah, Ashley, sorry to interrupt you, Karen. I'm all ears.
No worries. So in order to go into executive session, which is an opportunity to have confidential communication, in part attorney-client privileged communications and legal advice, there has to be a motion to do that. Before I launch into kind of more of that discussion, I don't know if Skippy has his hand up on something that kind of predated the beginning of executive session discussion.
Okay,
Can I jump in?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry?
Okay, cool. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, I had a question, just a procedural question earlier in the meeting. It doesn't seem to me to be a thing that needs to be an executive session, but I'll ask it and Ashley can determine that. But it's just, we all come into this with significant networks of experts, practitioners, financiers, whomever, with great expertise to lend to this process. And I wonder what the process is for each of us individually, either within the subcommittee or within the broader group, for bringing in, for lack of a better term, expert testimony or otherwise in such a way that the entire group has the opportunity to hear it and the public can be informed as well.
So thank you for pointing that out. I actually think that is completely appropriate for executive session. I think I've heard a lot of concerns as we've kind of ramped up on this from board members. And so they generally touch on the topics around state law training. But more specifically, I drafted a list of questions for Katina to include within a motion for executive session, because I wanted to make it a little more transparent than just to say, hey, we're going to go talk and ask questions around state law training. One of the questions that I drafted was based on some concerns that I think I heard earlier in the meeting. I'll reflect it back in the language of the question. Skippy, let me know if that in fact covers your concern. in applying for subcommittees and in working on subcommittees, do we need to be concerned around relationships with the non-voting members and participants? I think that might capture your concern, but if not, let's add context to it some more.
Yeah, I'll add some more context. I think that's certainly part of it. It's more, you know, if we're in the data subcommittee, for instance, and we have within our personal networks access to data scientists or psychedelic researchers or those who could bring thoughts on the methodological approach that would be most efficacious over the long term and sort of what the confines of that study would look like and what are our trade-offs between time and investment and complexity, blah, 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 right? There might be 10 people we want to hear from. How do board members bring forward those individuals in a way that the public also has access to that information and the information is shared with the rest of the board members to be in compliance with open meeting laws?
Perfect. Thank you for that clarity. That makes a lot of sense. I will disclose that in open session because that's very straightforward. The answer is if you have contacts within your network and you think that they would make valuable contribution to a subcommittee, you should send that information to Sam. Tell Sam how to reach them and why you think they'd be great contributors to your subcommittee. And then Sam will outreach them on your behalf and on behalf of the board and reflect that you were the source of that referral and that that he's reaching out because a board member made a request to have them included.
I do want to expand on that very briefly. If there are folks like that, you please send them to our website, the Natural Medicine Health Act, the DPO website that Sarah had and shared with folks. To sign up for updates on there is an intake form to sign up for updates, as well as informing us that these folks are interested in serving on the subcommittee, and we'll review them, and then we'll send that whole list out for you all to review as well, kind of broken down by the subcommittees.
Great. Sam, to save some effort and space in your inbox, if you could send to all of us following the meeting that link to share with people, I bet you would appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to do that. All right, back to Ashley.
Thanks. And Sam, just for last clarification, I assume that by signing up on the website, that's also the place for stakeholders to get notifications so that they are also alerted when meaningful actions are about to happen.
Yeah, I believe that they, and I can get an answer for you, but I believe they go to the listserv for it entirely.
Yeah, so there's a couple of different ways to sign up, but it's definitely the website link that we have shared with the group early on. I'll have Sarah shoot it through again. Everything you need is on that link, because that is the Natural Medicine Health Act homepage.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, thank you for that. So if everyone is ready to go
recording in progress,
executive session, we've started our
recording stopped.
We're not. Katina, I've prepared you with the magic words to go into executive session. Do you have that?
Yes, I do. I have a question. I heard it say recording stopped. So was that intentional?
So one of our technical people actually hit record. For executive session, I just want to make sure everybody's clear. We shared with you the link number for the executive session meeting. We sent you a link in your email this morning, and it is for a Google Meets. What we do is leave this meeting open for the public with the sign that says executive session, so they know that we will be back. We will get off of this call. I'll ask you to sign out. We will go into the new call, have executive session, and then we will come back here. Just so we have the mechanics of executive session.
Karen, thanks so much for that. And that's right. Every board member will need to actively leave this meeting to avoid transmitting attorney-client communications by accidentally staying in both meetings. Okay, take it away, Katina.
I got it. Okay, thank you. So I will be calling for, well, is the recorder on?
We should probably turn it back on.
Recording in progress.
Great. So I'll be asking for a motion, but let me let me be clear what I need the motion to be for. This is Katina Banks, and the time is 4:21 p.m. This is a meeting of the Natural Medicine Advisory Board. Can I have a motion that the board enter into executive session for the purpose of conferences with counsel for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions pursuant to Colorado Revised Statutes, Section 24(6), 402, 3A, Roman numeral 2, including questions related to agenda items, state law training, including, can you explain the role of the Attorney General's office and what's the scope of your representation? What is a board member's obligation regarding conflicts of interest? Can you give examples of what would be a conflict of interest? The Practice Act has a personal use exemption and a regulated access program. Can I enter the space and act as a facilitator now through personal use exemption? As a board member, can I engage in my own personal use of natural medicine? How does open meetings law impact my ability to speak or work with another board member? What's the purpose of an executive session? Is it possible for a single individual to waive a privilege of the board? Also, what's the impact of that? Why does delegation have to be given in order for a single board member to be able to act or speak on behalf of the board? What's the impact of parliamentary procedure and why does it matter? There is an upcoming site conference in June and many board members are scheduled to speak. Board members will be together. Hopefully we abstain from talking about the work of this board. Is it better to make an announcement that you'll be congregating there for an added protection? For that June meeting, what are the expectations and requirements of board members? Specifically, can a board member speak with another member? Also, can we as board members talk about the board and its work? In applying for subcommittees, do we need to be concerned about relationships with those people who are applying? Is it possible for a single individual to waive a privilege? Sorry, that one came up twice, but I think we've got it. Can a single individual waive privilege? Why does delegation have to be given? That's also been repeated. Let me
Apologies.
see. Oh, it's okay. Great.
I think
Other
that's
questions that arise out of or above these questions and answers? There's no B. There's no attorney-client privilege regarding the training. Okay, great.
No,
Yeah.
I listed it all in the questions.
Yep. Gotcha. So can I get a motion, right, with regard to
So moved.
a conference with counsel for those specific questions? I'm sorry, I heard a
So moved. So moved. This is Wendy.
Thank you, Wendy.
Buxton and Rob.
Sue Sisley.
And someone second? Who second?
I can do it. Sue Sisley if you want.
Thank you, Sue. Great. Well, all in favor? Please say aye or yes.
Aye.
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 Anyone is there anyone opposed? Or any abstentions? So unanimous vote with at least 2/3 of the membership present. At this point, we will enter into executive session. At this point, all board members need to leave this open session webinar and enter the executive session meeting that was sent to you this morning.
You on the flip side.
Hi. Adios. See you in a little bit.
Recording stopped.